cell phone antennas, hundreds of them, right on top of schools all around the Chicago area. NBC 5 Investigates tonight has discovered that dozens of local school districts lease their property to companies like AT&T and Verizon.
They install cellular antennas on school grounds, buildings, and even smokestacks, often very close to classrooms and playgrounds. So do they pose a risk to kids? Here's Phil Rogers.
Terry Fagan says he will never forget his son's first day of kindergarten here at Sutherland Elementary.
I looked up and I saw these two towers here that I had never seen before.
That made Fagan start to wonder about what was coming out of those towers. And he soon found he was not alone.
How many of you are very concerned about microwave radiation at the school?
I am.
Here at Sutherland and the nearby Mount Greenwood schools in the Beverly neighborhood, nearly 400 parents have signed petitions expressing concern about their children's potential exposure to RF radiation from the cell towers located on school property.
Parents deserve the right to limit the amount of radiation in the classrooms.
Parent Jeff Sims would like more testing done on where in the buildings RF exposure might be high. And he doesn't think CPS has been responsive to the parents' concerns.
Now we're at 10,000.
In fact, Fagan says school officials simply told him to call 311.
It's their choice. Our choice has been taken away.
NBC 5 Investigates found 139 schools around Chicago lease space for cell towers. Most are at elementary schools in Chicago, where school officials say tower fees bring in about $5 million each year.
At Sutherland, this equates to about $38 per student per year.
But we also found lots of places that have said no to cell towers. Communities like Wilmette, Tenley Park, and Naperville, and the entire Los Angeles school district. Both the American Cancer Society and the Federal Communications Commission say cell towers probably pose no risk to people on the ground. But the Chicago parents cite this recent study by the National Toxicology Program, which points to a possible link between cell phone RF and cancer.
This is by far the largest study that's ever been done in the world, by at least a factor of 3.
Turns out Dr. David McCormick headed up that study right here at IIT. Some 3,000 rats and mice exposed to cell phone RF in these big steel chambers for 2 years. And up to 8% of the animals did develop brain tumors and other complications.
I don't think the study is definitive in saying, yes, we have a smoking gun here. However, it's a signal that something may be going on.
So, what about schools?
Now, I don't blame the parents for being concerned. My first question is, does your child use a cell phone? Because if your child uses a cell phone, the exposure from that cell phone is very likely to be substantially larger than the exposure from the cell tower.
Beverly parents tell us they're concerned about even the minimal risk, with their kids sitting under these towers for 8 or 9 years. Most of all, they say they want someone at CPS to take them seriously.
Your choice has been taken away from you, and it was taken away without your consent.
A spokesman for the Chicago Public Schools sent us a written statement quoting the studies that argue that cell towers are safe. But no one from CPS would discuss this issue on camera. Why not? They repeatedly refused to give us a reason. We've created a map of every school throughout the Chicagoland area that rents their property to cellular antennas. Just download our app and search for cell towers. Phil Rogers, NBC 5 Investigates.